Hi, I'm Nathan from Serious Geeks, and this video is going to cover the new chapter command rules that have been revealed by the Warhammer community team, as well as the Master of Sanctity rules. Starting with this confirmation on the chapter command rules from the Warhammer community article, the upgrades from Psychic Awakening, previously exclusive to Faith and Fury, will be upgradable in the actual Codex book. The rules are going to be covered slightly differently. No longer will it be a command point to actually access these rules. Instead, it will be a points cost or power level, if you're playing power level, to upgrade the actual character itself. This, to me, I think is a positive change. I actually always lamented spending a command point to have a character operate how I felt like he should in the first place. I'd rather make the strategic decision before I actually selected my army to take a character that is quite effective at what they do, and I'd rather pay the points for that. Where this affects the army the most is when you want to take multiple characters like this. As an example, say you wanted to take a Chief Apothecary, Master of the Forge and a Chief Librarian, this would actually cost you 3 command points, which is quite a substantial investment. Now, it would be a points investment, which means you can mitigate that by taking cheaper options elsewhere, just to make sure that you get the characters in that you really want. Lastly, being a points cost investment rather than command points means the Games Workshop can adjust the points value depending on how useful each model will be, rather than having a set flat value that is the same for each. As an example, the Master of the Forge is probably more effective than a Company Ancient or a Company Champion upgrade, simply because you're affecting multiple units around your army potentially, and you're healing other units, whereas those other two characters, the Company Champion and the Company Ancient, have very specific circumstances in which they're useful. Thus, a single flat command point doesn't reflect the exact cost and usefulness of each in someone's army. What we do know from seeing the Master of Sanctity rules is each rules for the upgrades will be slightly different to Faith and Fury. They appear to have lost a relic each, and they seem to have lost the Warlord trait. This is quite understandable. There probably had to be a compromise to be able to fit everything into this book, so we can't really begrudge it too much. One thing I did notice is at the very bottom of the Master of Sanctity rules, it mentions a new stratagem for Space Marine players. It appears to be relevant to chaplains over other characters or other models in your army, and this could be a new trend that we're going to see. Certain models and units have always had access to stratagems, and it makes sense for the Space Marine characters to do so. So it'd be interesting to know what it does, and it certainly looks that the investment into a Master of Sanctity enables its use at a cheaper command point cost, which probably means it is fairly substantial in its investment. It's impossible to speculate exactly what it will do, as well as extrapolate what other characters may be able to do on the tabletop as well. As for my opinion on the actual rules itself, it's the same as Faith and Fury. A Master of Sanctity can use 2 litanies per turn, and their Warlord trait gives them +1 to see if it's inspiring. I don't put much stock in the relic. There'll be other relics in Codex Space Marines that are more useful, so I wouldn't waste a command point to get an extra one in there, which is a shame, but there are other choices in the book that will be superior, so it's not a massive loss. Overall, whether you want to take a Master of Sanctity or not remains the same as in Faith and Fury. If you have an army that is well suited to it, it would be great. If not, it's a bit of a waste of a points investment. Also, another variable we're not quite sure on will be whether the stratagem support in the Codex is actually relevant to what characters we take and what upgrades we give them. If we place a lot of value on certain stratagems and our character usage does actually give us a benefit to doing so, then of course that may change whether we want to take a Master of Sanctity or not. That's about all we can talk about for this subject, so on that note I'm going to go. Please like and subscribe, help grow the channel, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace out.